Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of Web3 Node Operators, a YouTube series that highlights teams running validators and other critical Web3 infrastructure. Today, I am accompanied by Bosco from Silk Nodes. Hey Bosco, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Paul. Thanks for having us.
It's my pleasure. Bosco, can you give our viewers a quick introduction about yourself and what you do as a team?
Yeah, so I'm Bosco or Michael from Silk Nodes Validators. We're one of the newer kind of validators in the ecosystem. We're around just about 7 months now. But yeah, we're loving every minute of it, and we're still learning. Yeah, so we're one of the newer validators in the ecosystem. We now we run relay our nodes across pretty much all chains that we validate, and we have public endpoints. We support API or PC endpoints, and we have those all listed on cosmos.directory. Trying our best to do what we can to help support all the chains that we validate on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's quite a lot that you do with extra contributions to the ecosystem. I like that.
Yeah, we do some smaller bits, like we've created some like minor Discord price bots and things like that, because a lot of people in the ecosystem like to have things like that added to their server. Yeah. I'll give you the link for the description later. It has a link to all those bots. And then at the minute now, we're currently working on a Discord bot called Validator Tools. So we're trying to give back to the ecosystem. Like when we first got into validating, we have to say, like, things like the tools Polkachu offers are so beneficial to us as new validators, being able to like just grab a snapshot, spin up a node, catch up within minutes, things like that. And we've always found ourselves very grateful of the kind of tools that Polkachu has offered the ecosystem, and we've always kind of wanted to emulate that once we could and once we had the knowledge to. So we've started providing snapshots at the opposite end of the day to Polkachu. So users are going to have the option which was the closest snapshot. Was it Polkachu's at 9 a.m. or was it Silk Nodes one at 9 p.m. UTC? So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. We're building that out now. We're trying to take a lot of the features that we've seen around the ecosystem, like the status bots, alerts straight to your Discord. You've missed 2% of blocks, 10% of blocks, things like that. We're getting there. Just doing our best to kind of spread the name and the brand.
So personally, I've been working a lot with what Polkachu offers. And right now, so I work at White Whale, and Polkachu runs our public infrastructure. So we host our validators our own, but Polkachu runs dedicated servers for us.
Yeah,
for funding, for example. So that's a really great service, and also spinning up new nodes with Polkachu snapshots.
It's simple,
really easy.
Yeah,
it is.
State sync is always hit and miss, but that's not Polka's fault. It's no one's fault really. It's something that needs to be worked out at a dev core team level.
Personally, I prefer to use snapshots. It's just easier.
We're the same. Prefer the snapshots. It's cleaner.
Yeah, and if you got a good bandwidth, it's done in a couple of minutes, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about how you got into the industry. I mean, you're on Silk Nodes. You said you have a lot of different contributions to the ecosystem and crypto in general, but how did you as a team end up there? And by the way, how many people are on your team anyways?
So there's a total of 5 on our team, 4 part-time and me, the only full-time member of the team, because we're quite small. The ultimate goal is firstly to get all 5 of our members full-time. I'm working on this consistently. Like we have some great experience there. Mud is one of the co-founders with Tiz. Tiz is an Irish fella that I know about 5 years now. Yeah, so there's 5 of us at Silk Nodes. Yeah, so that's kind of a long story. So I might give you the shortened version. So our team is a mix of Irish and American. I know both sides. I know the American side and the Irish side. With the Irish guys, we all met about 5 years ago in an Irish crypto Telegram group, and got to know each other from there. And we all kind of discussed different investment things, and a lot of us were leaning towards Atom, and then we all started investing in Atom, some heavier than others. And then obviously we'd catch up with each other when the next airdrop Osmosis came out and Juno came out. And that's kind of where our interest from the Irish side kind of came from. And then with our American side, Mud, he's kind of been like my mentor for the last few years on the development side of things. He's been not really teaching me how to code, but I've been self-teaching myself. And anytime I had any kind of questions or queries like that, I'd hit him up with the trickier questions. He's been a developer now in almost 20 years. So he's a good mentor to have. But from there, kind of just been compounding away. And it was myself that kind of spotted I had enough nomic to kind of spin up a validator and get into the active set. And I started mentioning it to Mud, saying, hey man, if I go doing this, would you give me a hand, kind of teach me the ropes? Because Mud is like, he's ran Bitcoin nodes, Ethereum nodes, master nodes, and all sorts of nodes all over the years. Mud has been in crypto a lot longer than I am. He got in, I think, 2012. So he's been around a long time. As I said, great mentor to have. And then from there, I kind of started mentioning it to the Irish guys, because I know they all had investments. I said, hey guys, if we spun up a nomic validator, would you guys delegate to us? And from there, the conversation kind of developed into more, well, why don't you do nomic, Cosmos, Osmosis, Juno? And I was kind of like, well, I don't have the weight to get us there. And then things kind of, we discussed things between us and realized that between us, we would have had enough to kind of push ourselves into the active set. And that's actually another reason why you'll see that our validators have the minimum self-bonded. It's because we are self-bonded, but through our own individual wallets. So we do have skin in the game, but it's hard to reflect that on chain, if you get me. So that's kind of.
But that makes sense from a security perspective too,
and a tax perspective. You know, like I don't know what other countries see it as, but like in Ireland, if say I took my holdings and gave it to Silk Nodes, the company, my own personal holdings, that'd be seen as like a disposal and a taxable event. So although I'm not like Silk Nodes wouldn't be transferring me any.
I still have the tax.
Untaxed on the disposable. Yeah, exactly. So for us, being a mix of Irish and American, for tax reasons, it really doesn't make any sense for us to basically donate our personal funds to the validator, if you get me, because we'll be hit with a tax liability, which we don't want to take.
Completely understandable. Nobody likes taxes, but it is what it is. So
that's kind of like we see a lot of kind of people on Twitter kind of giving out about validators that don't have skin in the game, but like we do, all validators do. They wouldn't be in the active set if they didn't. Just on chain, it doesn't show you how much skin in the game each validator has. But we've all got our own we've all got different tax laws and things like that. Validators are worldwide. So
that's true. And I like that about the ecosystem. But this YouTube series, it's called Web3 node operators. And you've been talking about validating chains and relayers. Can you describe in your own simple words, what does that actually mean?
For me personally, I just kind of loved everything that Atom was doing, IBC, and everything that it was building. I just wanted to be a part of it. I'm like a fan that's taken part. Do you know what I mean? In the ecosystem that they love and they enjoy, and they invested in. Like I invested in it financially because I believed in it, and now I'm working in the ecosystem because I believe in it. That's kind of the simplest way I could put what it means to me as an individual. I'm just like a fan that's taken part.
That's good. From a technical perspective, how does your operations look like? So
so
some viewers might not be too deep into this validating game as you are, or as I am.
Well, we're still pretty new, but we have like a 3-node system. So we'll have, for all chains we validate, we run a 3-node system. So we have 2 nodes, which would be our validator nodes, and then we have 1 public node. The public node is what provides the APIs, it does our relayers, it does the RPC endpoints. And with that, then for every node, then we have 3 Horcrux MPC signers. So our keys are never on the same server as our validator nodes, with completely reducing the risk of a double sign. And that was something that was important to us from the get-go. Obviously, we didn't start off right out the gate kind of with that setup. We started off like every single validator, single node setup, keys on the machine, you know. But like when we started spinning them up, we purposely went from, we done a Juno testnet first, under a different name completely, under Silk rather than Silk nodes. Gave us a chance to kind of make a few mistakes without anyone knowing who we were. But that's what
that's what testnets are for.
Exactly. Yeah, we jumped on Juno testnet. Can't even remember what we named that validator. But anyway, that's what we done. We were on there for like a month or 2, start messing around with a few things and just getting a feel for things. And then from there, we started our validators from kind of the lowest barrier to entry. So I think at the time, Cerberus only needed $20 worth of Cerberus tokens to get active.
I remember that time. Yeah, it was fun.
You can actually walk onto the Cerberus active set now. There's actually less validators than the minimum needed. But that's where we started. We started with Cerberus. We had a little bit of a play around with that, and that's when we learned we should have things like tender duty and pager duty, alerting us to any downtime or mishaps and things like that. We had our first and only ever, which we're pretty proud of, in 7 months, going from 0 to having 10 validator nodes and only getting slashed once for downtime, and that was on Cerberus within our first week of validating. You know, so, and it was all just our own tokens. So you know,
that's good.
Yeah, so we're pretty proud of that record, that we've only been slashed once for downtime. No double signs, thank God. But
thank God.
We took it from there, and that's where we started getting into our tender duty and things like that. And so we have full alerting. We use Horcrux MPCs, and we use a 3-node system.
As a validator, is there anything on the software node level that you really dislike or you want to see improved? Like anything where every time you spin up a validator, you think, oh man, this feature, or what about this?
Not really on the validator side, because you kind of close, you lock them down, you turn off API access, RPC access, do you know what I mean? But on the kind of public nodes, there is certain queries that people who are using your endpoints can query that'll like kill your node for at least half an hour. So stuff like that kind of needs, now that's well beyond my level of expertise. That's kind of core dev team stuff, that is. But those queries shouldn't be so heavy on nodes, you know. They shouldn't be halting nodes like that. That kind of gives space for kind of mischievous kind of conduct and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Luckily enough, the only people out there with open API endpoints are those that are providing them publicly to the network, and you know, they're not signing blocks with them. So like things like that need to be worked on, I think. The reliability of API endpoints and the RPC endpoints and things like that. I remember the customizability in that regard is a little bit limiting. We run into some similar issues frequently. Even when we started using Restake, at the start it was fine, because we were using our own nodes at the start, because we only had kind of 10 delegators using Restake. It was fine. Now we have on Atom is by far our most used restake validator. We have, I think, 135 or 150 using that, and when we're running restake, it'll halt our validator for 15 minutes.
Wow, that's a lot.
Or not our validator, our public node. Sorry, don't. Yeah, scroll back on that. Yeah, it holds our public node for about 15 minutes. So I think there has to be kind of lighter versions of it, or maybe there is that we're not aware of. But
well, maybe if someone watches this this video and knows the solution to this problem, feel free to drop a comment or a tweet or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I know there is some tools being worked on to kind of sorry, I can't think of the name of them, but there is some projects out there working. I've seen it mentioned a few times, trying to kind of share the burden of kind of the API endpoints and stuff like that.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about governance, on-chain governance. What do you think about governance as a validator in the ecosystem right now in its current state?
It's kind of hard to say. It works, and then sometimes it doesn't work, you know. But like in a general sense, I think it does work. You know, you have validators that just don't participate, and you have validators that do participate. And like the beauty about the Cosmos governance module is that the individual stakers can override what a validator does anyway. So if people want to speak up, they can speak up, and they can get out in numbers and vote. Like any election or any vote in real life, you got to get out and put your vote where you want it to go. But you know, you see things like last minute votes and things like that like sway a vote. We saw that with the like, I've nothing against the Cosmic validators, but Stakefish pushing their proposal into a pass at the last minute before voting ended. It just didn't sit right with me, because you know, they're a validator. Their value add as a validator is they're creating content. If the community liked their content, they support them with delegations.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. Fair enough, it's educational content. They apply for the ICF Foundation delegations. Them results still aren't back. So for them to put a proposal out and say, we haven't got that delegation is a bit, okay, well, they haven't said who's got them and who's not. Like, as I said, nothing against those validators, but the way we see it is that's their value add as a validator. You know, you shouldn't be putting up proposals to take from the community fund. If that's the case, every validator that runs public APIs, that runs public RPCs, that runs relayer nodes, that's their value add. You know, we've got the Discord bots now and other things that we're working on. What's with that proposal after passing, what's to say that we can't now put a proposal saying, okay, well, we want to use the community funds to fund the public endpoints, the RPCs, the relayer nodes. I was quite pissed about it when I first seen it, and I was vocal about it on their Twitter. But look, we're still, like, I joked saying that we'll put up a proposal to say that we were requesting public funds to pay for the stuff that we offer as a validator. But yeah, no morals, we wouldn't.
It's an interesting take, but I think this highlights, or you're highlighting the point that validators are a great source of team income for people that want to build in this space. Let's say you want to build a protocol, and the protocol obviously should be very decentralized. So not one team gobbling up all the profits, but the application developers can then go ahead, build a cool application that's decentralized, while simultaneously running validators that, and as a team. So users of the protocol that think, all right, they have developed a cool application. They can now delegate their tokens on their validator and thus ensure continuous revenue and thus development for the application. And I think that's a lot of application builders haven't really understood this right now, because I don't see many validators from applications yet. I think more are coming, but it should be way more. So from 150 validators on chain, 100 should be applications, should be teams building in the ecosystem. And you're doing something similar. You're building your bots, for example, public endpoints. White Whale, we're building an application, and we use the validators to fund ourselves, like you do.
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly,
what's supposed to be.
Like, again, as I said, nothing against Cosmic validators, but that's their value add. And another thing that's kind of a kick in the teeth to smaller validators like ourselves is most people looked at that and said, oh, it's such a small spend, 300 out of a month. That's more than the entire 10 validators bring in a month. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's a small spend from a community fund kind of thing, but they've just basically skipped the queue. Do you know what I mean? That's their value add. It's the equivalent of getting millions and millions of dollars worth of delegations overnight. It's the way I kind of say it. And it hurts. It hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a good point to say, or to highlight that if you as a viewer are delegate, or you hold Cosmos tokens, I assume that by watching this video, make sure to choose the validators based on what they bring to the ecosystem.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think there are a lot of great validators out there that really bring massive value to the ecosystem, but there are also a lot of validators that just don't. Without naming any names here. So I think
there's an awful lot that just don't.
Look, that's
the joys of a free market, I suppose.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's the beauty of how we were able to become validators ourselves. You know, just 5 average guys. You know, that have a keen interest in the ecosystem, just wanted to take part. You know, when we first started proposing blocks on Atom, I was nearly like sitting there refreshing Mintscan. It's like, that's us. We did that forever. Do you know what I mean? It's forever on chain. So they'll propose that block, and we're seriously, we're just like fanboys taking part, which is it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? We just love what we do. As I said at the start of the call, one of the main goals for me is to get our team all full time. I think once we kind of get to the stage where we can get our guys working more on things, because like I'm a self-taught developer, but I can still consider myself kind of a junior dev. I'm kind of, you know, I'm lower level, but I'm teaching myself the best that I can. If we had like Mud on board full time, like that dude is awesome. If we had him full time, I know damn well Silk Nodes will be making contributions to like SDKs and things like that. You know, he'd be diving in deep. His knowledge is far exceeds mine. But yeah, we'll get the team full time eventually.
Well, I hope so. And I think it's just a matter of time. If you stick to it, it will be possible sooner rather than later.
I have to get over the nerves and start doing more things like this.
Yeah, for example, that's one way to get more delegations and get the word out.
Yeah. For those of you watching, poor David had a hard time getting me to stop stuttering and spluttering through this interview, because I'm quite nervous when it comes to things like this. So thanks very much for your patience.
He's just saying that to make me feel more comfortable. I was more nervous than him. But that being said, let's continue. You just mentioned you put up your own proposal. Now, a lot of proposals.
No, we were joking about putting up our own proposal.
You were joking. Okay.
Yeah,
that screwed up my.
No, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't waste delegators' time like that, I suppose.
Yeah.
If the way we see it is, if the community liked what we were doing, they'd reward us by delegating. You shouldn't be putting up proposals to dip your hand in community funds. That's our opinion.
Yeah.
You know.
I get this, but let's just talk about voting on proposals. By what metrics do you vote yes, no, abstain, or no with veto. For example, couple of months ago, there was a proposal to put CosmWasm on the hub. It was rejected because of security risks, but it would lead to more growth for the ecosystem. Or right now, there's talks of putting oracles on Juno.
Yeah.
Now that's a security risk because oracles are notoriously complex. I think they're one of the most complex things.
Validators get slashed if their oracle is down.
Exactly.
Like
so it's a security risk, but it leads to growth. So
yeah.
My question is, how do you decide what to vote on?
As a team, we'll have a discussion, especially on kind of major proposals that are put up. As I said, we've all got different backgrounds, different experiences, worked closer with different chains in the ecosystem. So we all have our own kind of point of views on that, and we'll do kind of our own internal vote. As well as that, then we have our Discord that some of our delegators have jumped into. It's very rare that we've brought up conversations about proposals, but if our delegators ever wanted to voice an opinion or they felt strongly about something, they can always reach out to us, Discord, Telegram, anywhere they want, Twitter. And if they wanted to get involved in the conversation, we'd hold that. We'd have a chat in our Discord, open up. We're open to what our delegators want, essentially, but we will share our own opinions given our backgrounds on that.
Oh, that's great. That's how it's supposed to be. Validators not only provide infrastructure, they also represent opinions.
Yeah,
and exactly. It should be, validator should be the voice of its delegators, and you need communication channels to know the sentiment of your delegator. So I think that's a very sensible answer.
Yeah.
Let's go over to the next topic, or our last topic in that sense. So a lot of delegators value contributions outside of validating and collecting rewards. So you mentioned you provide public endpoints, you provide snapshots, you provide a Discord bot. Do you want to go into a little bit of detail what value you provide to the ecosystem?
Yeah, so right now we're working on a new Discord bot. This will kind of be our main thing for now. As I said, I'm kind of a junior dev compared to other members on our team. But yeah, we're just doing the best that we can to kind of get the branding of Silk Nodes out there, and provide some cool shit for people to use, basically. But the validator tools is going to be a bot where you can simply run a command, snapshot, and it'll pop up then which chain, all the chains that we provide the snapshots for. And then you select the chain, it'll come back with full instructions on how to download the snapshot and restore your node from that snapshot. Has state sync scripts. It's going to have validator alerts if you're missing blocks. You can set it up to ping you in your own Discord or send you a private message, whichever you want. But it's we're kind of looking at all the different tools that we see around the ecosystem, and you see in the different validator channels. All them kind of bots and tools are private and can only be added by the chain. So we're kind of saying, well, why not open this up so that validators can take those tools, chuck it in their own server, and when they start getting alerts in their own server, they know, okay, that's us missing blocks, that's XYZ, and it makes life a little less cluttered, I suppose. That's the plan anyway.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Everything up for validators and push it into their own Discord. We're also going to be working with Skip Protocol to build build an alerting system for when validators are disconnected by Skip to the Skip API. So Barry's creating an endpoint for us at the minute. Once he has that endpoint up, we'll get that alerting tool done and made and ready to rock.
White Whale and Skip we're also working very closely together. We just open sourced our MEV bot that uses White Whale flash loans.
We really have to try that out. I've
go ahead
to try it out. Yeah,
go ahead. It's a cool thing. You can boost your own rewards, but also those of other validators. So it's really neat thing.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, definitely have to check that out.
Looking a little bit into the future, where do you think the Cosmos ecosystem is headed in the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months? What will we see next? And what are you as Silk nodes most excited about?
Well, we took part in Game of Chains, the ICS testnet. We found that very interesting, and well, I think it still needs a lot of work. We're quite excited about the potential of what ICS brings, where your delegators can earn more tokens across different chains by staking Atom. That's pretty interesting. But the scary part from a validator's point of view, especially like ourselves, we were bare metal. Our space is limited, and for every time we want to add space, it's quite a cost. So it's not like spin up a new VM, spin up a new VM, spin up a new VM. Like we run physical hardware and infrastructure ourselves, and we found that with Game of Nodes testnet, that by the end of it, now the timing was awful. It was the week I was getting married.
Congratulations.
So yeah, I had to just we had to just bow out of Game of Nodes in the end. We were tied first, might I add, before the week of my wedding.
Oh my God.
But now, yeah, I think we finished up about 20th in the end. But yeah, look, it was quite scary and daunting to see the amount of chains being spun up and spun up and spun up and spun up and spun up. And it was like, at what point do you run out of space? And at what point is this going to cost us as small validators, first of all, that run our own hardware? How much of a cost is this going to be to us? So like, we're excited to see where everything's going to go, but a little bit skeptical at the same time. Like, is this going to, is ICS going to put small validators out of business? It's quite a concern. Like,
it's a valid concern.
You know, are we going to be able to afford to spin up 150 different nodes to support, do you know, this kind of thing? You know, and if we can't
the price of Atom appreciates.
Exactly, and if we can't keep up with the top validators that can spin up consumer chains, nodes, and offer staking rewards for each of them, we're out. You know,
I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we kind of have to work out and figure out what's the best approach, and hopefully they take their time with it. The Game of Chains, it felt a bit rushed. Maybe that was me because I had so much going on personally in my life, coming to the end of it. But at the very end, it did feel extremely rushed and kind of what the hell is going on here. So have to go back over that again and take a closer look.
Yeah. Michael, I think our interview is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Is there anything left you would like to say to our viewers?
No, just, I don't know. The bear market's been quite hard, especially for smaller validators like ourselves. So like, if you're watching this and you see this, even if you don't delegate to Silk nodes, look a bit further down the rankings and look for validators, because I can guarantee you more than 50% of validators right now are operating at a loss. So do your best to support the smaller guys. There are some of us out there that are good guys, and we're trying to do our best and help, you know, provide for the ecosystem. So yeah, that's what I'd say. If not us, someone else a bit lower down the rankings too.
Michael, it has been a great pleasure talking to you today.
Thanks very much, David. I really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.